every leak is fake when it comes to this one aspect of Switch 2. Let's get into it. Good morning, you. How's your morning going on this fine day of Mood News? It's snowing outside, which is quite exciting, here in Mood headquarters, aka IRL. But I had this thought this morning, and I was like, you know what? I think this is worth a Mood News episode. I think this is a pretty good theory. I haven't really heard many people talk about it. So when I say that the Switch 2 leaks have been fake, well, obviously they're not probably real in the case of like they're not real published things by Nintendo. They're mock-ups from what people have seen, or maybe someone's got their hands on a specific unit for it, and we know devs have access to the units and we're producing them and stuff. So, there's all these things going around, but I'm specifically talking about the cases, right? When it comes to all these cases and all these like accessory companies making these designs and mock-ups for the Switch 2, there's even some shown at CES and some other like silly ones. I feel like they might miss the point to a certain extent, because some of them have crazy variety when it comes to the back of the Switch. And the reason why I'm concerned about this, or I thought about it so much, is in a few leaks, right, we've seen that the kickstand has changed to being like this weird U shape, right? And that's really all it is when it comes to the case. They've like created the case so it caves around it, and that there's just this big U on the back instead of a traditional kickstand being able to like, be this big panel. And I think this has been an oversight by these accessory companies and these case companies, because why would Nintendo do that? Just to make it look different, right? No, there's got to be a reason for them to making this U shape for the kickstand for the Switch 2. And my theory is linked to this common theory about the Switch Joy-Cons being used as mice. Now, you might already see where I'm getting here, but I really think for that section of the back of the Switch, which would be the kickstand, can actually now slide off or pop off and be used as a mouse pad. Now, I know that sounds kind of crazy, a little silly maybe, but like, I think that if that's the case, that makes so much sense when it comes to like the idea of the mouse cursor being for the Joy-Cons, because I really hope that's real. If that's not real, it's whatever, but unless they show like another crazy gimmick for the Switch 2 other than the mouse, which gets me excited, I'm gonna be kind of sad that there's no like silly new way to play or new gimmick with the Switch 2, which I'm sure there is, and I think theory stands that it probably is this mouse idea. But yeah, I really think that the back of the kickstand is definitely designed like this to be used as a mouse pad, and it could even be weird where like you just put the Switch down and you press like the cast button, and then you drag your Switch on top of the back of the console. I think that's probably the worst way to play, but you could do that if like the idea of the cast. I'll do a video about the C button later in case you guys aren't in the where about it. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? I'm like, okay, sorry, I just woke up. But like the idea of like, oh, you press the C button, you cast it to your TV, you don't even have to dock the Switch. I mean, just drag on the back of the main Switch console. No, don't do that. I hope that's not the case. What I do hope the case is, though, is that you can slide off the back and then use that as a mouse pad. And I think that's actually very like smart as well, because if they introduce this idea of like, oh yeah, you can use the Switch controllers as mice and drag them across and use them just like you would for a computer. The idea of just doing that anywhere, right? I mean, it's supposed to be the idea of like, oh, pick up and play, take the Switch on the go, do all that stuff. Unless you had like an accessory of a Switch mouse pad, right? It would really be catered towards when you're at home or at a place with a solid, smooth surface already. And so having a mouse pad built into the console itself, I think would just lend like that idea or way more potential, because you could actually use it on the go and it doesn't feel limited. I think if they don't do this, people will complain and be like, yeah, the using this Joy-Cons as mice is really cool, but with no way to put you can imagine it in the reviews, but I think like in the reviews, if they have this idea of a mouse pad, and what's great about using this is you can pull out the back and then you can use it as a mouse pad, and then it's super seamless and you can do it anywhere. Like, that makes a lot more sense to me, and I think it's gonna be so cool. It could even be like a different material on one side or the other, and it could even work like the back plates you see with a new 3DS. Do you guys remember that, where like you could unscrew like the top and bottom, and then you can change out what like the console looks like. Oh, I wanted one of those so bad, but alas, you can't always get what you want. And I think you don't need another 3DS. If you already have a 3DS, you don't really need it. Well, maybe you do if you want to play, Xenoblade Chronicles 3D? Christ. Anyways, guys, that's been me this morning on Mood News. Given my take, given my piece, I thought this was a pretty interesting idea. I haven't heard anyone talk about this theory before, so I wanted to let it rip. Let me know what you think. If you have your own theories, make sure to comment them below, and I'll see ya soon. Take care.